Imagine spending nearly 30 years hiding in a jungle, waiting for orders that would never come. While the rest of the world moved on, one Japanese soldier believed World War II was still being fought. His name was Hiroo Onoda, and this unbelievable story is completely true. Hiroo Onoda was born in Japan in 1922. In 1944, as World War II grew more desperate, he was sent to Lubang Island in the Philippines. Unlike ordinary soldiers, Onoda had been trained in intelligence and guerrilla warfare. His mission wasn't to win battles. His mission was to gather information, sabotage enemy operations, and survive for as long as possible. Before he left, his commander gave him an order that would change his entire life. No matter what happens, never surrender. Never take your own life. We will come back for you. Onoda believed every word. On August 15, 1945, Japan officially surrendered. For millions of people, the war was finally over. But on Lubang Island, Hiroo Onoda was completely cut off from the world. Allied aircraft dropped thousands of leaflets across the jungle, announcing that Japan had surrendered. Onoda picked one up and read every word carefully. But instead of celebrating, he became suspicious. This has to be enemy propaganda, he thought. To him, surrender was impossible. The only explanation was that someone was trying to trick him into giving up. Months turned into years. Years turned into decades. Onoda and 3 other soldiers built small, hidden camps deep inside the jungle. They survived by eating bananas, coconuts, wild animals, and sometimes rice stolen from nearby farms. They repaired their uniforms, cleaned their rifles, and trained almost every day. To them, nothing had changed. Every distant gunshot, every airplane, every strange sound only confirmed one thing. The war was still going on. They were simply waiting for Japan to return. As the years passed, Onoda's group slowly disappeared. In 1949, one soldier secretly surrendered and returned to Japan. 5 years later, another was killed during a firefight with local police. Onoda still refused to believe the war was over. Then in 1972, his last companion was shot and killed while they were burning harvested rice to disrupt what they believed was enemy activity. For the first time in nearly 30 years, Hiroo Onoda was completely alone. But even then, he never abandoned his mission. By 1974, Hiroo Onoda had spent nearly 30 years hiding in the jungle. Most people believed he was dead, but a young Japanese adventurer named Norio Suzuki refused to give up. Before leaving Japan, Suzuki made a promise that sounded almost impossible. He told his friends he would find 3 things: Lieutenant Hiroo Onoda, a panda, and the abominable snowman. Everyone laughed, but just 4 days after entering the jungle, Suzuki spotted a man wearing a faded military uniform. It was Hiroo Onoda. Against all odds, he was still alive. Suzuki explained that the war had ended almost 30 years earlier. He told Onoda that Japan had rebuilt its cities and that millions of people had moved on with their lives. But Onoda refused to believe him. He calmly replied that he would only surrender if his original commanding officer returned and personally ordered him to stop fighting. It sounded impossible, but that's exactly what happened next. A few weeks later, Norio Suzuki returned to Lubang Island, but this time he wasn't alone. Standing beside him was Major Yoshimi Taniguchi, the same commanding officer who had given Hiroo Onoda his final mission nearly 30 years earlier. The major unfolded an official document and read the order aloud. The Imperial Army has ended all combat operations. You are relieved of your duties. Onoda stood in complete silence. For the first time in almost 3 decades, the mission was finally over. When Onoda returned to Japan, everything was different. The country had become one of the world's leading economies. Modern buildings filled the cities. Television, highways, and new technology were everywhere. The young soldier who had disappeared into the jungle in 1944 returned as a 52-year-old man. He had missed almost 30 years of history. Despite everything that had happened, many people in Japan welcomed him home with respect. To them, he had simply followed the orders he believed were his duty. Hiroo Onoda spent nearly 30 years preparing for battles that would never come. Whether you see him as a loyal soldier or a tragic figure, one fact remains undeniable. Few people have followed an order for as long as he did. Sometimes history isn't stranger because it's unbelievable. It's stranger because it's true.